Mother-in-law decides to test her 3 son-in-laws for their good nature. For this, she goes for a walk by a river with the first one and jumps in. He saves her. The next morning, he finds a Toyota Corolla parked outside his house with a note from your mother-in-law. The next day, she goes for a walk by the river with the second one and jumps in. He too saves her. The next morning, he also finds a Toyota Corolla parked outside his house with a note from your mother-in-law. The next day, she goes for a walk by the river with the third one and jumps in. He just laughs and walks away. The next morning, he finds a BMW M5 parked outside his house with a note from your father-in-law. A man goes into a doctor's and says, Doctor, you've got to help me. I just can't stop lovemaking." "Well, how often do you have it?" the doctor asks. "Twice a day. I have lovemaking with my wife twice a day," he answers back. "That's not so much," says the doctor. "Yes, but that's not all. Twice a day I have lovemaking with my secretary twice a day," replies the man. "Well, that is probably a bit excessive," says the doctor. "Yes, but that's not all. Twice a day I have lovemaking with my neighbor lady twice a day," says the man. "Well, that's definitely too much," says the doctor. "You've got to learn to take yourself in hand." "I do," says the man, "twice a day." A group of drunk, rich, blonde sorority girls decide to play Russian roulette. They each put in $50,000 on the condition that anyone who chickens out loses their bet, and the last one still playing keeps the entire pot. Kirsten goes first, puts the gun to her head and pulls the trigger. Blam! She drops dead. Maddie goes next, saying, "Well, I hope I have better luck than Kirsten." And blam! She drops dead. Vicky takes her turn, saying, "Third time's a charm, right?" And blam! She drops dead. Danielle picks up the gun and looks at it. "Hey," she asks Brooke, "isn't this game played with a revolver?"
Finding one of her students making faces at others on the playground, Miss Smith stopped to gently reprimand the child. Smiling sweetly, the Sunday school teacher said, "Johnny, when I was a little girl, I was told if that I made ugly faces, it would freeze, and I would stay like that." Little Johnny looked up and replied, "Well, Miss Smith, you can't say you weren't warned." A young man goes into a drugstore to buy condoms. The pharmacist says the condoms come in packs of 3, 9, or 12 and asks which the young man wants. "Well," he said, "I've been seeing this girl for a while and she's really hot. I want the condoms because I think tonight's the night. We're having dinner with her parents, and then we're going out. And I've got a feeling I'm gonna get lucky after that. Once she's had me, she'll want me all the time, so you'd better give me the 12-pack. The young man makes his purchase and leaves. Later that evening, he sits down to dinner with his girlfriend and her parents. He asks if he might give the blessing, and they agree. He begins the prayer, but continues praying for several minutes. The girl leans over to him and says, "You never told me that you were such a religious person." The boy leans over to her and whispers, "You never told me that your father is a pharmacist."